And good afternoon, folks. Warp103, bringing you guys another one. This time here, we're looking at the Char Murat. And we're going to compare it, is it really worth the money? Versus if you already have the Char or one other tank that's already inside the game. So sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy the show. All right, the Char Murat. Now, I'm going to warn you, this tank was originally on the Russian server. And on the Russian server, it's a tier 9. You see dual tracks here on the Russian server, and actually the tracks, if you blow one off, it still keeps moving. On the Russian server, this thing actually, the gun mallet actually has armor and everything else to that. So basically, they stole the artwork from them, gave it to y'all guys here, and said, here, pay this money. So first off, you're automatically getting scammed. Let's start right there. You're automatically getting scammed because this tank was so much better, and they literally could have carbon copied it, paid them the money to do it and do it right. But it's here now for the battle pass that you got to work hard for, and let's look at the tank comparison. Now, we're using Tanks GG. This is really simple because I want your guys to actually understand why you don't need this. Put myself on the side over here and everything else like that. Now, we're looking at the base stats. Again, Char you can get from the battle pass for basically free, and this one was a premium tank. So basically, you got two tanks over here that you can directly compare it to. Now, anyone that says you shouldn't compare it to the Char has lost their mother effing minds. Why do I say this for? Because again, their roles are literally the same. Well, we don't want to compare it to that tank because the tanks are better. That's the dumbest reason in the world not to compare it to the other tanks. Basically, because you're automatically baked in saying you already know it's crap. Again, I'm not saying it's not a good tank, but it's crap compared to the other tanks that you may already have. Okay. Less DPM, less penetration at distance. Yes, it does have the almighty alpha, and you can dump your clip in 5 seconds. Woo! Woo! Yeah! All right, you can dump it in 5 seconds. So your inner clip reload is 2.5. It's a 105 like or anything else like that. Shell velocity is a little bit lacking versus one of the other tanks better than the other. You do have more ammo inside this tank, but the tank is much larger, so that's an issue on its own. And then when you look at the gun handling, no, it doesn't. This deserves a double face palm. Aim time, long as hell. Gun stats, dispersion, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit worse than the Char, a lot worse than Udes. But then when you look at the gun on the move, the Char, and everybody that's already played the Char before, you have guys, you have super fluffy unicorns have talked about how the Char works and everything else, and they wish the gun handling was a little bit better. And then come out and say, well, the Murat is fine. Wait a minute, you just said before that the Char gun handling needs to be a little bit better. It's okay. This one is worse than the Char, way worse than the Udes. Okay, cool. Well, it has higher gun depression. It 12. Okay, Udes has 13. Yes, it's better than the Char, but you're giving up so much to do this. Let's keep going. Speed. Oof. Huh. You're faster than Udes, kind of, sort of. No, actually you're not, really, if you look at the totality of it. Versus the Char, yeah, no, you're not. Okay. You know, because it does a lot of maps with soft on it. So, all right, cool. Again, let's look at your actual health. What? I don't know where they're getting this figure from, because what it is the upper plate is basically an auto bounce angle, so it's so sharp that it skips. But the problem is, people that know, if you shoot the upper plate at a certain angle, it'll actually skip up and hit you right underneath the chin. Yeah, they don't tell you about that. And again, right now, people don't know where to shoot this tank and everything else of that, and they're just using auto aim, and they're getting the occasional bounces. But after a while, people are going to learn to shoot right underneath the neck so it can bounce up to that chin and do damage. Okay, so your armor is basically non-existent. Char has more armor. Again, the Udes basically, the armor is non-existent as well. Health-wise, not as good as the Char in a lot of cases. 50 better than the Udes. Okay, yeah, all right. Track repair time is long as hell. So if you get tracked with this, you're stuck. And most tanks have sub 10-second reload. So if you get tracked, you're repaired. You get tracked again, you're dead. Not that they can shoot you anywhere else, but they can track you, do damage, and you're completely effed. Whereas the rest of them have, quicker repair times. Almost half in this case, almost. All right, cool. All right, that's bad enough. Camo. Okay, you're a chunky boy. You're a moat. That's why if you look at my stream, I call it a char moat rot. Because you're a moat. You're big. So your camo, no, non-existent, basically. You do have slightly better view range than the Char. I will give you that. But the problem is, I've seen this tank in action a lot. It goes on fire a lot, and it gets ammo racked a lot. Two things you don't want. So, in order to make this tank work, you're going to have to take either A, stay in the back, don't go in, or you're going to get, effed. Or you try to go in and play it as a medium tank, and that's a fire. Or, ammo rack. So, it's really one of those things where the gun handling is atrocious. Your aim time, just everything about this gun is saying, please, Lord, no. Especially versus the Char, which you can get for free, or the Udes that if you paid a little bit of money, you got the Udes. It's, again, better. Your speed is, kind of-ish fast until you hit soft, and then you're done. Your turning is a little bit better than the Char, but again, overall, you're kind of cooked. Your armor, again, is really non-existent. The Char will bounce more than this tank here does, simply because of how the Char is developed, and plus it's lower. You could be more removable. The selling point is, you already know it, the gun depression. It has 12 degrees of gun depression. That's what it is. This is what the selling point is. It has 12 degrees of gun depression, and it can dump its clip out really fast. The problem is, it can dump out its clip really fast, and most of the time misses shots. So, but Warp, you can use equipment to get this down to here. Duh. All the rest of them can use equipment. The Udes doesn't need to, but all the rest of them can use equipment too to get it down to even better. The fuck? Now, let's say you're a free-to-play player and you came into some money, a little bit. Should you buy this? If you buying it at the bare minimum, meaning that you worked hard, You suffer through the thing. That's another thing. 4 stages a day. Oh God. Most of the time it's 3.5. No, sorry, 3.5 to 7. 4 stages mean that you got to work that extra little bit harder. I know. I usually buy at least 2 stages because again, I keep it down to 3.5. So no, I usually have to buy 3 stages. So essentially, it costs me just a little bit over 4K in gold. Most people, if you don't barely have the gold, you won't be able to do it. Let's say you have enough to get it for 4.5K. Is it worth it? If you have no other tank, you can still get the Char for free. Is it going to make you money? No. Why? Because that's not enough. 264 in the Char is barely enough to make it work. But what is the kicker? This is the kicker. Is when you do have to dip into gold with the Char. Oh, sorry, I forgot to update the last one. Or with the alt. When you have to dip into gold, the Char is hands down better with dealing for tier 10s. Whereas 300, oof, that's lackluster at best at times when you go. Because if you see a mouse, you're screwed. You see an E100, you're screwed. So heavily armored tanks, if you see a tier 10, you cannot pen them. Whereas the Char at 330, especially after the mouse was buffed, you can make some headway. So at 300, you're going to be spending out your butt, and you still may not pen. So is it worth it? If you can get it for 4K and you have no other tanks and everything else of that, sure, fine. You know, because it's a premium tank. If you're a free-to-play player, the Char is just outright better. The Char is outright better. If you're paying money, the Udes still, because you're going to hit most of your shots with the Udes and hit weak spots, you're better, again, for the money. So, Char versus Char, the 4 wins. Char versus Udes, the Udes still wins because of its accuracy. So, that's my review of it. Take it as you will. This is Warp103. We're going to say warp out, have fun. Go catch you guys on the next one.